This week, we talk about Apple Maps, the state of the Nintendo Wii, and Moviepass's final RIP. So let's get it together as a people, and let's go ahead and check it out. Welcome to a sensational Saturday and the first day of this frightening February. And the reason it's frightening is because they added an extra day. Now, I talked to people, nobody knows where it came from, but I'm just warning you now, don't be born on the 29th day of February, all right? Bad stuff is going to happen. Like, it's going to take you 4 years to become one, so just don't do it, all right? So let's go ahead and jump into our first story on this Saturday Tech News Day, and that is with the Nintendo Wii. Now, a lot of people still have their Wii. It is a long beloved console, and technically it won the console generation between the Xbox 360 and the PS3 sales-wise. A lot of people loved it, but if you want to get it repaired by Nintendo, your time is coming to a close, because Nintendo has come out and said that they will no longer be repairing Wiis as of March 31st. So if you have a broke Wii in your closet and you want to get an official repair done to it, then you better go ahead and get it shipped in by March 31st to have it repaired. I mean, it makes sense. The console is like 14, almost 14 years old now. So eventually, yeah, you have to stop repairing it and kind of move on. They're not going to keep making parts for it forever. And I'm pretty sure there's still going to be a decent second market for Wiis. And there'll still probably be third-party repair shops that will do repairs on it. So it's not really a huge deal in my opinion. I mean, yeah, it sucks if you're like a collector or something like that and you want to get your Wii repaired by Nintendo and you can't. But I think for the most people, they've either moved on or their Wii is working fine, so they don't care. It's not like it was really a problematic system hardware-wise. So, RIP officially the Nintendo Wii. We shall miss you, even though the eShop's been offline for a while. In our next story, Google is testing a feature on their Nest Thermostat that will send users an email notification when it starts noticing issues with your HVAC system, like it's taking longer to, cool down or heat up. Things of that nature to kind of give you an advanced warning of when there might be a problem. So currently, of course, if your AC fails or your HVAC system fails, then it does send you a notification, but this is more so like telling you, hey, there might be a problem before there's a catastrophic failure. It's a cool feature as long as it actually works. Now, there is a risk in that, like, if it detects something wrong, then you might be spending a bunch of money to have somebody come out and look at your HVAC system and there's nothing wrong with it. So that's my only concern about it. But if they can get this right where it works like 95% of the time, well, 5% is still a lot of people that it could affect, even if it was 95%. I think something that could potentially warn you of an issue and possibly save you money down the line before you have a complete failure is an ingenious idea, and it gives people more of an incentive to invest in a Nest thermostat. Personally, I have the Ecobee and I love it, so I'm not going to be switching over to Nest. But for those people that have a Nest, it's kind of like an added bonus if they do decide to roll this feature out. Like I said, right now it's still in testing, so they haven't made it official yet. But we'll see how it goes. Speaking of going, we're going to go right into our next story as we pay our final RIPs to Moviepass. Now, we already RIP'd Moviepass on this show a while ago because technically the service fully shut down in September, but now the parent company is filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy, meaning like it's not no frontier bankruptcy where it's like, okay, we're restructuring. Like, nah, they gone. Like, everything, boom, is done. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how they even survived until this point when they haven't had, any revenue coming in for months. So, I'm surprised it took this long, but it makes sense. They started to run into trouble with Moviepass. They got into fights with theaters that didn't want to support it, and it was like a whole thing, and they lowered their prices too much, and it just became a business that wasn't sustainable, and then also the popularity of it continued to drop. I mean, personally, I don't really like going to the movies. I do it if it's a major movie that I have to see, like Star Wars or like an Avengers movie. But other than that, I just wait for it to come out on Blu-ray, and then I usually just buy it because it's cheaper or the same price as paying 2 tickets to go to the movie, and then I have it to watch anytime that I want to. And even if I don't like the movie, I still spent the same amount as I would have spent going to the movies. Or I could always rent it for a couple of dollars on like a digital service to see if I like it, if I'm not sure about it. So that's how I consume movies. But, you know, Moviepass was a great idea. I'm not saying that it was a bad idea, like, you know, paying a monthly fee to see as many movies as you want to. I think that if they could have worked with the theaters, that this could have been something that kind of brought people back to going to the movies. Not saying that the movie business is struggling or anything, but I don't think it's as popular as it once was now that everything is coming to home video a lot faster and streaming services. There's just less of an urgency to go see something in the theaters when you can just wait a few months and watch it at home. Anyway, pay your final respects to Moviepass. RIP, never used it, but we gotta move on, baby. Ultra Moviepass. Start my own company. In our next story involving Apple Maps is finally done in the US, meaning that they've actually gathered all the data, like their own mapping data, for the full country. Of course, they're still going to have to maintain that data for changes, you know, bridges, highways, new construction, so that it stays accurate, but they finally have the whole US mapped. Now, as far as using Apple Maps, I still personally don't really use it. I've tried it a few times, and the first time I used it, it almost took me on an airport runway. I actually read a story about it, and then it actually happened to me. This was like when it first came out. Then the other times I've used it, like, it's got me to the general location of where I wanted to go, but it wasn't exact. It was like, you're here, and then I'm like, well, where is it? It's literally like that. It's like in the general vicinity of where I want to go, not the exact location. Whereas like Google Maps always takes me right to that location. So that's the reason that I haven't used Apple Maps that often, and I tried it like probably like a year or so ago at this point, and it was still kind of the same thing. So hopefully with them finally mapping the whole US, they can improve their maps, because it would be awesome to be able to use it, especially being an iPhone user, and that's the map program that's heavily integrated into the operating system that you can use hands-free with Siri. So it would be nice to have a functioning map program that was at least, it doesn't even have to be better than Google. If it was like almost there, I'd be fine with using it just for the conveniences of having the voice control to be able to say, you know, set destination for here, and it does it. But for now, I'm still sticking to Google Maps, but I'll keep an eye on Apple Maps to see if it actually improves now that they've mapped the whole country. And then our final story, if you remember back to the Apple event, the iPhone event back in September, they brought the company Filmic on stage, and they showed off this really cool thing where you could record two cameras at the same time. Two things at the same time. Anyway, it looked amazing. And then the iPhone came out, and they're like, hey, this feature's still not ready. And we were waiting for a long time. I think a lot of people probably forgot about it, but it's finally available. It didn't end up rolling into their previous app, which I believe is Filmic Pro. It's its own separate app called Filmic Double, and it allows you to record from two cameras at the same time. I haven't really spent that much time with it because it just came out this week, but it's something I'm really excited about as someone who likes to capture multiple angles, especially for like if I'm doing like an unboxing video or something like that. Even I think, you know, maybe parents, they want to record their kids and the child or something like that, or if you just want to record yourself and record something else. It's just a cool app to have, and it's free. The only catch is you have to have one of the new iPhones, like an iPhone 11 series or the XS, to be able to use the multicam feature. So it does kind of suck for people that have an older iPhone. You can still download the app. I believe you can only just shoot single cam. But I'm definitely going to try it and give you my thoughts on it. It's just something we've been real thirsty for. I feel like Filmic kind of missed the boat on that like initial stream of excitement, and now it's kind of come out later where people aren't even thinking about it anymore. So there's like there was a little buzz about it on the internet, but I think when people saw it at the Apple event, they were ready to try it. And I think if maybe they were like a month out after the iPhone's release, they probably would have got a little bit more excitement and attention. But the fact that it took so long to come out and everybody's forgotten about it, it kind of hurt. The other thing is it is restricted to 1080p recording on all the cameras. The max is like 1080p 30. So that is one restriction. Like I said, to me, not the biggest deal. I'm still excited to try it and get my hands on it. But speaking of hands-on, I might have to put my hands on that stop button and stop this recording and bring this episode to a conclusion. But if you enjoyed it, make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Frightening February, we're out.